Joining me now, Patricia Hurtado, Bloomberg legal reporter, and Dave Ehrenberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County. It's good to have you both back and together. It's a great pairing here. So what, Patricia, have you been expecting when Cohen returns to the stand tomorrow? You've seen this from start to finish in the courtroom. So how do you think this plays out tomorrow?
Well, what we expect is that we're going to see the Trump's lawyers can finish their cross-examination. And they made a couple of good points on Cohen, trying to rattle him and undermine his story that Trump was okaying the repayments to Stormy Daniels, and that Trump was in on the loop, approving the payment that he made to Stormy. And there was some indication that maybe Cohen was confronted with a text that may have indicated that he was complaining about a 14-year-old spamming him and calling him and crank calls rather than actually talking to Trump himself, which, as he claimed. Then we get to see redirect, and this is when the prosecutors sort of clean it up and go back through the whole story.
Okay. So big picture, Dave, here's where the reality is regarding this case right now. Here it is. By this time next week, Donald Trump could be a convicted felon or a newly acquitted man declaring complete and total exoneration. I mean, equally challenging scenarios, I might add, but based on the evidence you've seen and heard, Dave, which of these is more likely?
Alex, maybe it's just the prosecutor and me, but I think this is headed towards a conviction, at least in part. I cannot envision an acquittal that a unanimous jury is going to say, no, Trump has a better story. He wasn't involved in this. No, the corroboration here has been to corroborate Michael Cohen's testimony that Donald Trump was involved from soup to nuts, from the beginning of this hush money scheme until the end when they figured out a way to reimburse Cohen. After all, it was Alan Weisselberg's own notes on a bank statement that showed how Cohen would be reimbursed, how it would be grossed up. And the lawyers for the defense have no alternative explanation how Trump was not involved in this. In fact, in his opening statement, Todd Blanche said that the payment to Michael Cohen was not a reimbursement. It was legal fees, legal services. But the evidence overwhelmingly shows it was a reimbursement. Even Donald Trump's own words through his tweets, through his court statements previously, show that this was a reimbursement. So I don't know how they get out of that. Even though Michael Cohen took some body blows on the stand the other day, it doesn't overcome the amount of corroboration that's been out there for his testimony.
Interesting. So, Patricia, we are learning a little bit more about the extent to which the Trump loyalists disrupted the proceedings when they all showed up in court over the last few trial days. The New York Times says some were making videos in a holding room. And when Judge Juan Merchan advised Todd Blanche to not let that happen again, Blanche said he had less than zero control. What more can you tell us about how the judge and Trump's own lawyer reacted?
It was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. And I've covered courts for years, that in the middle of Michael Cohen getting to this heartfelt, tearful explanation to the jury on direct, it was the very end of his direct examination of how he decided his coming a reckoning to decide to plead guilty. He's describing having this heartfelt conversation with his daughter, and she said, Trump's not your family. We're your family. Do right by us. And that's how he was convinced to plead guilty. And in the middle of this heartfelt description, suddenly you hear this clomping down the middle of the courtroom aisle, and it's the Republican delegation coming in, interrupting. And they were handing phones out to each other. And basically they took selfies in another courtroom where Donald Trump has basically a holding office where he sits with his lawyers. It was quite unbelievable to see this kind of behavior in a courtroom where everyone else has to be quiet. You can't take phones out and you can't talk. And these people were being disruptive. So it's quite shocking, actually.
Yeah, I think it sounds kind of obnoxious and disrespectful, but that's my opinion. So, Dave, here's the opinion of one of Trump's former lawyers. Let's watch that.
I am concerned that by parading these, figures in and out, that would have a negative impact on the jury. I know that there was an incident, where a couple of members of Congress came in, not during a break, and they were somewhat disruptive, and the judge was, looking angrily down. That's the kind of thing that jurors notice. So, it's not something that I would be encouraging.
I mean, we could see Patricia's jaw dropping describing this, Dave. Is this unprecedented? First of all, a House Speaker showing up at a criminal trial to deliver a message that effectively helps a defendant flout a gag order. I mean, I'm just curious what Judge Marchant can even do about this.
This whole thing is unprecedented, from Trump being on trial to a House Speaker going there to shill for the defendant. Yeah, these guys are about, lock them up, back the blue. But when it comes to Donald Trump, they're like Better Call Saul. They're just radical criminal defense lawyers themselves. They're standing out there claiming this is a fraudulent system, but they're doing this for politics. I mean, Mike Johnson owes his speakership now to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump weighed in to have Johnson's back against Marjorie Taylor Greene. So this is the payback. And, the Republican Party is now the party of Trump. And so if they want to have a future in the party, if they want to be vice president, so that's why you see Tim Scott and others there, they're going to be there to support Trump no matter what he does, no matter what he's accused of. You can't shame the shameless, and these people have no shame.
Patricia, the Washington Post reports today that 4 people close to Trump say the plan does not include him testifying. Although, look, Trump is famously mercurial, could always demand to testify. But what are you hearing from your sources? Will he do it or not?
It seems like it would be a disaster for him to testify. If he thought it was a disaster to find people finding out about the porn star, the last time he testified in the New York AG's civil fraud trial, he was on the stand for hours, and it was kind of loony. He kept talking about windmills and offshore drilling. Finally, the judge said, "You sound like a broken record. Stop making political speeches," and basically castigated him. And it was a bench trial, so there was no jury there. But Donald Trump went, we heard what he said with the NRA. He was crazy when he was testifying, kooky when he was testifying in the AG case. I think that would be disaster for him to do that in front of a jury, especially when it opens them up to all kinds of questions by prosecutors like, what do you mean when you said that email? What do you mean when you have all this correlating evidence, as my colleague there has just pointed out? There's all these emails indicating Trump's knowing, Weisselberg knows, and everyone knows, and Trump's tweeting out that I reimbursed him. What do you mean? So it would be a terrible decision to testify. I hope his lawyers prevail upon him not to testify.
Dave, last word to you. Do you get the sense he's listening to his lawyers this time around? Does he not testify?
Here's my pop culture reference for today. Remember the movie Animal House, Alex? Yes. Well, the GPA for Blutarsky, 0.0. That's the chance that Trump testifies this week. He's going to listen to his lawyers. He doesn't want to be cross-examined on his steamy sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels and the salacious details. And he doesn't want details of the E. Jean Carroll stuff to come in. So there's so many reasons why he's not going to testify. And another one, if he does lie under oath, that's a perjury count. That's another crime. So no, he is definitely not testifying in this case.
Oh, John Belushi was so great in that role. You just brought a smile to my face, which hasn't seen a lot of those, honestly, given what we talk about all the time. Thank you both. Patricia, Dave, good to see you. And I guess we'll have to check in next week and see how it all goes.